Hi there, Stu Harrison. Welcome back to the Think Tank series, The Road to Recovery. And I'm pleased to have Sue Sharp from Brant Office Supply with us this week. Welcome, Sue.
Thanks, Stu. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a bit about where you guys are at Brant. What's your current status?
Well, we're still open. We never did close. We closed the retail store pretty early on, and we've been offering delivery and curbside pickup all the time between Monday and Friday, 9 to 5. We do a lot of ship outs as well. We use couriers as well. And so we're still here. We try and do the touchless payments. So people like the chamber that can charge to their account, or people that can charge to a credit card, and we're good to go. So we've been pretty steady. Parts of our business are quiet and parts are really busy.
Good for you. Well, thanks for being there for the business community. One of the larger sectors of the business community is an office setting, and while there's still a state of emergency on, there's no one going back to their office tomorrow. We've been certainly encouraging people to start to think about what it's going to be like when you do get back to work, whether it's a retail setting, a public setting. It doesn't really matter. I mean, marinas, for example, weren't allowed to open, and then they were kind of allowed to open and prepare, and then they were allowed to open on Monday. So, the more that people can spend their time now thinking about what it's going to be like, the better the actual outcome will be. So I'm wondering if you can just kind of cover some of the general principles that people should be thinking about now when it comes to preparing for a return to an office setting, and then we can get into a little bit more of the specifics. But what generally should we be thinking about?
Well, I think a lot of our customers are starting to plan ahead. They're getting notification that they're going to be able to open soon. So they're starting to think about how they can retrofit their existing workplace to accommodate not only their employees, but their customers as well, if they have a customer-facing type of space. I think it really comes down to trying to train ourselves to change our behavior and to avoid unnecessary contact wherever possible. And so people are starting to think about that as they think about bringing their employees back and keeping their employees safe. And I know how important that is for our employees here. Heaven forbid anybody got sick, that would be the worst thing. So just trying to think about how to prepare for that. I think all businesses will have to put some cleaning and disinfection into place and create some processes around that. So just starting to think about disinfecting and retrofitting your existing workspace is really what our customers are starting to think about now.
Okay. I love the word retrofitting. Let's do a deeper dive on that. What are some of the things that you're recommending people look at when it comes to fundamental changes to how their office is set up?
Sure, it's definitely a tricky term because you don't want to weaken your team. You don't want to put barriers up when it comes to community within your workplace and communication between your employees. But we realize that we need to reduce density within our workplaces, for instance, where we want to encourage physical distancing. I know we've heard a lot about that. So we're starting to talk to our customers about some ideas that they can put into place, such as removing chairs where people might have too many chairs in place, spreading workspaces apart so that people can be keeping that 6-foot distance apart from one another, and also signage to help remind people to keep that distance. So reducing density would sort of be the first thing that people are starting to think about. And leaning into that too is changing the layouts of people's offices and their customer facing areas of their businesses as well. So reorientating workstations so that they're further apart. People can hopefully be further apart, and maybe moving away from a linear approach where we have people lined up like a parking lot,
Right.
say. People are starting to think about reducing the face-to-face type of office space with, if that's necessary, if people can't move people apart or turn desks, creating a barrier there to keep their employees safe is really important. But as I just mentioned quietly there, people can turn their workstations 90 degrees to try and face people in different directions as well. So that's sort of the changing the layouts of existing offices, often using the furniture that people already have, and adding barriers and shields, that sort of thing.
Right. And it's not like you have to, screw a piece of plexiglass into the top of your desk either, right? I mean, there are systems in place. I'm assuming that you guys have material within your own store that people can access. There are tools and techniques that I'm sure you can help people with.
Yeah, so some customers are thinking longer term that they want to create barriers that would be permanent. So we have a sector of people that are thinking that way. This is the way we're going to work from now on. And then, but probably more popular at this time are the portable wellness screens that you see if you're out shopping. And those are nice because you can not only have them while you're meeting with a customer, a coworker, in a meeting, they can be moved around. So
Right.
we have solutions for people thinking in both directions.
Nice. I love the term wellness screen as opposed to a sneeze guard. That's much, much nicer.
It's a little nicer term, isn't it?
Very good. You used a term called hoteling. What does that mean?
Yeah, so hoteling is a term that entered into our industry about 10 or 15 years ago, and real estate became very expensive. So the idea of shared workstations became quite popular. And also, we know that people can easily work from home, they can work from cafes. So a permanent desk for every employee all the time can be quite costly. So hoteling became really popular, where you have shared desks where multiple people use the desks and maybe have a small storage space, but they can come into the office, they can hook in, they can charge up, they can attend meetings. And what we're seeing now is that people are starting to shift away from hoteling to single-use desks again. And but if hoteling is a necessity and people are coming back to work soon and they can't necessarily change their office overnight, definitely implementing a clean in and clean out type of policy.
Yeah, that's got to be critical. But I mean, if we've proven one thing during this pandemic, it's the ability to work from home. I mean, there's been a lot of people who have figured out an awful lot of things that we didn't think we could figure out.
Exactly.
So so shared desks, but yes, obviously a cleaning regime is going to be critical so that your people are comfortable. And I also want to make the observation that business is very much driving this. The safety, it's safety first, whether it's your own employees or your customers. I mean, consumer confidence is going to be critical when it comes back, whether you're going into a store, going into a public park, going to a concert, going to the office, going into an office setting to pay your bills or whatever it is. If you don't feel safe, then you're not going to frequent that business. And so business is driving this whole conversation, aren't they? I'm sure you find that.
Yeah, and if your employees don't feel safe about the workspace they're coming back to, they're not going to want to come back into the workspace. So I think we need to encourage that keeping distance and cleaning and all of those good things that we're hearing about, because if people don't feel safe, they're not going to want to come back into work.
Yeah. Are you finding people thinking long term, like post pandemic, like this is how we're now going to work?
I think that some people are thinking that we're going to be in this situation for a long time, and that even a year from now, we're going to be considering barriers and safety and things like that. But I don't know about what you're hearing from the business sector, but from our business, it's really hard to plan too far out. So a lot of people are thinking, okay, I need to open up again. What can I put in place for a few weeks from now,
Right.
or
Yeah, it's
next week?
still,
It's
yeah,
it's
it's a lot more of a
important to think
triage.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
I agree.
exactly. Yeah. So
So tell us what you've got at Brant. So is people still looking for plexiglass masks, gloves, PPE, et cetera, et cetera. What, run through the inventory of what you've
yeah,
got available.
so we've been selling cleaning products for years now, and
Mhm.
gloves, and hand sanitizer, and now of course that business is a big part of what we do. So
Mhm.
we have a great assortment of masks. We're carrying the Harco face shields.
Oh yeah, great. That's a
Yeah,
great local story. Nice.
we're carrying the some of the local hand sanitizer.
Yeah,
Um, we've got the wellness shield,
nice.
the sneeze guards.
Yeah,
We've got the floor decals and lots of cleaning supplies and paper towels and cloths and wipes.
excellent.
Some products are really hard to keep in stock.
Mhm.
So customers that are thinking ahead are ordering now, and sometimes they're getting it right away. Sometimes they have to wait a little bit of time. So people are realizing that demand is really high. So yeah, so that's our business, and we're also getting an influx of people that want help retrofitting their offices, because people are going to be coming back to work in waves, I imagine. And so just trying to keep that physical distancing in the workspace, and how can we help them do that? So we're here providing design service, and we'll also go in and help people reconfigure their offices for when
Right.
they do open.
Nice. Well, a personal thanks for being there for the business community as a business, for pivoting, figuring it out, continuing to operate. I'm sure it's been stressful times for you guys as well, but it's an important service that you provide. And I can't tell you how helpful you've been today. You've provided a very fresh set of eyes to what a lot of people are thinking about, and will certainly help people prepare for their return to work. So really appreciate you taking the time today.
Well, we're happy to help, Stu, anytime.
Yeah, Sue Sharp, Brant Basics, brantbasics.com. And thanks again. That was the Think Tank.